The last few years, we've heard a lot of talk about self-care. So, what is the goal of self-care? I think for most people, we want to incorporate more self-care because we are uber stressed and we think that self-care will help to bring down our stress levels. Here's two problems that I see with this. The first is that a lot of self-care that's out there on social media is the kind that basically does not last that long, right? Like, yeah, you feel great when you've had a nice long bubble bath or you've gone for a massage, but 2, 3, 4 days later, are you still experiencing the stress relieving effects of that? Not usually. So while those things are super beneficial and I encourage people to do them, if our goal of self-care is to regulate stress, then that's not really the ultimate. The second problem that I see is that self-care has become another thing on our to-do list. Isn't that just how it goes? That we think that this thing that we're adding is going to help us, but instead it starts to feel like an obligation. And obligations, by definition, are not stress relieving. Personally, I'm going back to some tools that I used before the whole conversation about self-care came about. These things, specific herbal elixirs, essential oils, and sonic experiences, actually do help to regulate the HPA axis, the emotional response, equilibrium in the body overall, and they do help us to find center. The other thing that's really great about these things is a lot of them are things that take 2 or 3 seconds to incorporate into your day, but they have long-lasting results. And especially when we're talking about herbs. Herbs are something that we can partner with that help to deeply nourish our systems. In so doing, that nourishment helps all of our systems over time to become more regulated. And this gives us a special edge when it comes to our stress response and how we feel about stress in our bodies. So I think that we actually need to go back to more of a passive idea with self-care. Simple things like this that can be incorporated, a program that you can have in your diffuser for certain essential oils every evening that will help you to sleep better would be another example. We need to have things that we don't have to think so hard about that we can easily incorporate that are going to make us feel better, not just while we're doing them, but all the time. I'm going to be talking about all 3 of these things, herbs, oils, and sound, in my masterclass on Thursday night, the 31st. I invite you to join me. The link is in my profile. I'm also going to be sharing some of my favorite recipes, a tea recipe and an essential oil recipe for 2 things that I've been using for forever that are like my go-tos when I'm feeling especially stressed. And I'm going to be giving a shout out to some of my very favorite products that I have incorporated for many years now that have helped me to regulate my stress response better than literally anything else that has been suggested to me or that I've ever done. So even though I love things like bubble baths or let's go on a meditation retreat or something like that, those things are amazing. Those things are awesome. Keep doing those things. But I think we need to adjust our expectations about what is actually going to change our stress response to something. And I think going back to these same tools that our ancestors have used since the beginning of human history, plant medicines, aromatics, sonic experiences, these things our bodies are adapted to. These things help to bring harmony into our body. And maybe more importantly than anything, these things help us to reconnect with the things that actually nourish us: nature, community, our inner voice, and the divine. Follow for more.